Today I would like to share another quality that I saw in Bhagwan. I'm trying to do this like a satsangh. Every day I'm trying to share, I'm hoping to share something slightly different from the previous day. So, for those of you who have been in the previous talks, we shared how there are a few D's of Swami, the letter D, D as in divine. The letter D's that Swami practiced and how I took those letters home every day, and it continues to inspire me even today. The first one I shared was discipline. The second one I shared was determination. The third one I shared yesterday was discrimination, the power of discrimination. Today I hope to share the fourth and the fifth, because I have only one more day left on Saturday, with which I'll share the last one. But these two here, what I saw in Bhagwan and what we can learn as devotees of Bhagwan. These are not just mere words. These are actually qualities of the Sai Avatar, if you will. To me, they are the qualities of the Sai Avatar. These are the qualities I take home, because this Avatar came to the form of the human body, lived like us, spoke like us, ate like us, slept like us. When the Sadguru comes down to your level, he does so you can rise up with him. He has come down to pick you up and take you back to the source from where he came. So these are qualities. Discipline is not something he told you to do. It was his very nature. It was his very nature. His sense of determination, the power to achieve what he set out to achieve, was not something because he was divine, but he set out to show us that even you can do. All of us have dreams. All of us have desires to fulfill. But how many of us are determined to achieve that? Follow his example. Follow his example. Discrimination, the power to say what is important for me today at this moment. Let me focus on that. Leave the rest aside. The power to discriminate what is necessary, what is unnecessary. How do we do that every moment of the day? Watch from Swami. Learn from Baba. Follow his example. So that other important quality which I want to share today, very powerful, very touching, is something we can directly relate to, and that is the power of devotion, the quality of devotion. The quality of devotion that I saw in Swami. I know some of you are thinking, hey, wait a minute, brother. Devotion, Swami, quality of devotion? No, we are the devotees. We are the ones who are supposed to have devotion. Why would God have devotion? But believe me, sisters and brothers, I learned devotion from Swami. The way he was devoted to his mission was indescribable. The way he was devoted, the intensity with which he was devoted, the purity with which he was devoted to his devotees can only be seen to be believed. Can only be seen to be believed. He was devoted to his mission. He set out to do something, and he would never compromise on what he set out to do, because he loved his mission. He loved what he did. He loved his devotees. He went out of his way to make sure every single person who came to his house was touched by his love. Nothing and nobody was out of that order. When I was very new to Swami, because I joined Baba's college, and I was trying to understand who Baba was. Because my parents were not devotees, nobody in my family were devotees. So I was discovering Baba on my own. And so that was such a fascinating journey. Here is a very small example, and I'm sure many of us, including Brother Abhi, can share many of these stories which we witnessed after a while. It became a common event that it didn't even register to us. A small incident which was one of my very first, where I saw Bhagwan's Leela in action. For almost a year, we used to see one huge gentleman coming in a wheelchair for darshan. He would come, sit for darshan, have darshan, and somebody would wheel him back. Always, all the time. He was really big, fairly elderly gentleman, but very big in size. He barely fit into the wheelchair. But somebody would bring him, he would have darshan and go back. For many months he would come at a stretch, then he would probably go back home or something, you won't see him. And then again he would come and spend a long time with Baba. In One day in the veranda, Baba was just talking to us about love of devotees and his love for devotees. He said, nobody can separate me from my devotees. You know, and he was talking to us, and like I mentioned yesterday, he talks to us very casually. So we were just simply listening. And then Baba said, you know that person sitting on the wheelchair? He has been coming to me for the last 15 years. He has not been able to walk for 25 years. But not once has he asked me that to make him walk. From the very first day he came, because Swami was telling us, you know, we were all clamoring to Swami, somebody was wanting to give letters, somebody was wanting to do this and that. And he said, see you buffaloes, you are always asking Swami, look at him. He has come for Swami, he is in wheelchair, he can hardly walk, he is very sick. Not even one day has he asked me, Swami, make me walk. He's only come there to have my darshan. You people come to give me your darshan. Swami didn't look at me, Swami didn't talk to me. Oh Swami, please talk to me, look at me. But he came for my darshan. That is the kind of devotee I crave for. That is the kind of devotion that touches God's heart. So 2-3 of us were sitting and we shared this later on. We were shocked because it was not just me. So we thought, my God, it is such a great devotee, why can't you, our hearts went out to that person sitting in the wheelchair. Swami, just bless him at least then. Because Swami would hardly talk to him, he would just walk past him. Then Swami said, wait and watch. Today is his time. Today is his time, wait and watch. And he walked straight to that man and told him, come inside for interview. So his assistant helped him and they pushed him. In fact, that slope, if some of you have been in the ashram, you know there is a slope just outside Swami's veranda, which is helps for wheelchair and everything, accessibility. They couldn't even push that up because he's such a heavy person. So they somehow managed to push that up and then lifted it one step and then took him all the way into the interview room. And Swami said, wait. And he told us to wait. Don't go away, wait. So he went inside and we were all very excited. What is Baba going to do? He stayed for only 10 or 15 minutes inside with this man. He came out. Of course, they had to open both the doors to take him in. He came out, once again opened both the doors, and he stepped out like a child who's just finished his board exam. I'm done. Full of very happy. He stepped out, he opened both the doors, and he came, looked for us. See, look, he said. And to our utter amazement, we saw this man slowly walking. He walked. I couldn't believe. All of us had tears in our eyes. Later on, of course, we asked the assistant and they said he has never walked for 25 years. His legs were all so weak, the muscles were not even strong enough to bear his weight. But they held his hand and he walked. One step at a time, he walked. Swami said, when you're going down the slope, go carefully. He went down the slope. We never saw him again. Maybe Swami said, your prayers are answered, go, do your work. We never saw him again. Or maybe he came with a regular devotee, sat in the crowd, because we were looking for wheelchair, our habits, right? Once we see somebody sick, we always look for the sick person. We never saw him again in the wheelchair, never again. But that was an amazing sight to watch a person going in a wheelchair and coming out walking. A person who never knew how to walk for 25 years, who had some major accident in his spine and he got paralyzed or whatever that was. But whatever the reason, it really doesn't matter. If Baba wills, if there is a will of God, then there is nothing that can prevent that will from manifesting itself. But the beauty in that lesson is, he says that will is also within us. You and I also have that power. I keep re-emphasizing that because that is a very powerful lesson we as devotees of Bhagavan should take home. And we pray to Bhagavan, we love his form, we chant his name, we cry in listening to his leelas, we feel one with him. But that oneness we should awaken ourselves and go up to where he came from. Rise ourselves up to that divine level. And once you raise yourself there, then even the innermost desires are answered. Devotion. That was how he was devoted to Bhagavan. I have been sharing the little poems of Bhaja Govindam. Each of these stanzas, every day that I share one or two, each of these stanzas we had sung in front of Bhagwan and we had made a drama out of it. And these were Swami's favorite ones, each one of them. And each one of them had such a powerful meaning. Because Adi Shankara was a divine teacher 2000 years ago. He taught the highest philosophy to mankind. But at the end, he said, chant the name of God, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda. So, when you go back home, or for those of you who have been listening to this satsang one day after that, there is so much to take. There's so much homework to do. And you get fried, right? Your brain gets fried. You say, oh my God, this is so much to take home. The best thing for you to do is chant the name of God. That's all that's required. In chanting that name, everything else falls in place. All those impossible, difficult path of spirituality, everything falls in place. So let me share with you that little song. We'll sing a bhajan at the end of it because he said sing bhajan. He said Bhaja Govindam. So he shares the philosophy and this says Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. We'll spend a few minutes and then I'll come back to Swami. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Samprapte Sannihite
Thank you.
Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Oh my God, how do you break the cycle of birth and death? Now, I like to make spirituality very street smart. I like to understand it the way it relates to me. The idea of birth and death appears too abstract. Oh, we are being born and we're going to die, and that is a matter of faith at this point. For many of us, if not all of us. I like to understand this, and Bhagavan has very beautifully explained this in many ways, but the way I have understood it from Bhagavan's teachings is, every night when you go to bed, and every night you lose yourself in sleep, guess what? You're dying. Every morning you open your eyes, you're being born. Every night and every day given to you is a new birth. A new chance to live your life one more time. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. But guess what? If we analyze our routine on an everyday basis, you'll be surprised, probably not surprised, but you'll be surprised to know that we literally do the same things over and over again. We get up in the morning, the way you brush your teeth, the way you go to the shower, the way you have to have your coffee at a certain time. If you miss that coffee, something goes wrong. We become a machine. We become so predictable. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. We are caught up in the cycle. Every day is the same old routine. Yes, we wear a different sari, a different dress, a different pant, a different shirt, but it's the same old routine, the same old attitude, the same old belief system. Nothing has changed. And therefore you get caught up in this cycle. And if you live your entire life caught up in this cycle, guess what happens if you die, the real death, and then you pass on, and if you are born again, what is it going to be different? You're going to be born again as a human and you're going to continue in another cycle. How do you break the cycle? How do we break this meaningless, ritualistic, machine-like, zombie-like life that we are leading? Ask yourself, how do I spend my day? What is my quality? We have our favorite TV shows, we have our favorite music, we have our favorite food, we have our favorite company, we have our favorite friend, we have our favorite Sai Center. We have everything's our favorite. And then that's it. Our life revolves around it. Just goes on and on and on. Satsang has become an event for us. Oh, one more. I should attend this on Friday, this I do on Saturday, this I do on Monday. Never do we attend the event thinking, what if I merge with God at this moment, in this event? I'm going for a satsang, I don't know if I'll come back. Do we ever think like that? We might be scared, we may not go for satsang. Brother, if I say Brother Sunder is doing a satsang, Brother Ravi and Sunder are going to do a satsang, come and don't be sure you'll go back, we'll get liberation. We might have 5 or 10 people. Because normally when people come for satsang, I don't know about Trinidad, Brother Faiz, but in the US, they put on the DVR and make sure all the TV shows are recorded. Because they know they're going to go back and watch the TV shows. So you don't want to miss it. If this is why you come to a satsang just to have a good time and go back to the same old life, then it is punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. We go back to our same old. What is it that you step up from here to here and then stay there and not go back down? The name of God. The name of God. I know, like I said, these things, I'm putting it out there because this is how Swami gave us the highest philosophies practice. But then easier ways. If this sounds difficult to you, this sounds impossible to you, don't worry. Start chanting the name of God. Wherever you're driving to work, you are coming back from work, you are alone in the house, you are in the small group, wherever you are, if you can think and chant the name of God. Nama Smarana. Nama Smarana is not bhajan singing, not limited to bhajan singing, because it's Smarana. Smarana is that which you contemplate. Kirtana is bhajan singing. Kirtana is singing, but Nama Smarana is contemplating on the name of God. When the chant here, you go home, And it's our everyday experience. You listen to a bhajan, such beautiful bhajans are sung today, magnificent bhajans. And when you go home, that bhajan stays in your mind and you're humming your tune and the bhajan stays and stays and stays and stays till you go home and take the remote and put on the TV. But if you let it be there and let it sink into your subconscious mind, slowly the name creates a vortex of energy. And that energy starts revolving and starts pulling you up. Unfortunately, this energy pulls you up, not pulls you down. You must have heard from Brother Faiz. He shared with me a beautiful analogy. He said balcony devotees and basement devotees. Balcony friends and basement friends. There are friends, there are satsangs where your energy goes up. They are balcony friends. There are friends, there are companies where you sit and everybody criticizes everybody else and slowly your energy comes down. You think the world is coming to an end, there is kidnapping, there is violence, there is crime, and politics and corruption comes down. Slowly it's like the battery goes down. You feel so drained out. You feel there is no end, there is no escape from this world. And you wait for the next avatar to come and liberate you. But this is not a balcony guru. He is the tallest skyscraper guru, if you will. He's not come here just to lift you from one place. He's come to lift you to the highest possible state of existence so that you and I can live our life to the fullest, enjoy our life to the fullest. This Bhagwan is a kalpa vriksha, a wish-fulfilling tree, my dear brothers and sisters. When we approach Bhagwan with a prayer in our heart, and we all have prayer in our heart, there is a way that He will answer your prayer, and I'm going to share that with you. Here is $1 million free advice. Every prayer can be answered. For those of you who think I've been praying so long, something has not been answered, I will show you a technique. I will share with you a secret, little secret hotline connection I found with Bhagwan, which has helped me every single moment of every single day. Every time I need Him, He is there. But I will come to it slowly and explain to you how I reached there and how I learned this through life, how I learned it with certain experiences. Because it is crucial, because once an experience teaches you, you are never the same again. And I want to share that with you. So bear with me before I give out the secret method, if you will. Going back to my story which I started at Akbar Trace Sai Center of how I came to Bhagwan, I left out a particular spot in that story just to come back to this, explain it in the context. Everything has to be learned in a context. And that's what I believe. It makes more sense then. When my father got transferred to Haryana, we were in Bombay. For those of you who have been here for the first time, very briefly, I was born and raised in Bombay, and my parents were very ardent Hindu devotees. They had Shiva, they had Vishnu, they had Lord Muruga, who was the son of Shiva, and Ganesha, and we were South Indians. So Sai Baba didn't figure into our family, he didn't figure into our lives. Yet, though we were very devoted to saints and sages, somehow Sai Baba with big hair and clean robes and driving in Mercedes-Benz somehow didn't appear spiritual for very orthodox people. So he didn't figure it. So when my father got transferred to Haryana, and it was a small village about 60 or 70, 80 kilometers from Delhi, he realized there is no college for me to study there, so they were busy looking for a college. And I found out that I came across Sai Baba, that's what all the stories I shared in Pajay. I came to know about him, I came to know about his college, so I started writing to my father that I want to join, and he said no. And then I said, hey, there is a summer course. Every year, Baba used to conduct a 1 month summer course before the college actually started. A summer course would be where he invites all the youngsters, all the young men and women from all over the country. They would come and spend 1 month in Bangalore. Because he had a college in Bangalore already established, but that college was associated with the Bangalore University. So everybody would come there and spend 1 month from all over the country. Young boys and girls were chosen. So every state, they would choose 20 or 25 people as a group, 25 to 30, depending on the size of the state, I guess. They would choose, and you have to write an exam. And when you pass the exam for the summer course, an entrance exam for the summer course, or a selection exam, if you will, you pass the examination, and you attend a brief interview. So they'll ask you what is the name of who's Rama, do you know who's Sita, do you know Bhagavad, because they want to make sure, because this is a summer course in Indian culture and spirituality. So they wanted to make sure you at least have some basic orientation. And most of the Indian kids do have it. I mean, by default, you are grown in such a powerful tradition which has existed thousands of years. So that was not a problem at all. I got very excited, and my father said, okay, attend the summer course and come back, and if you like it, then we will see if you can join that college. How I joined the college, I shared that. But this little summer course experience, I want to share it in the context of prayer. We as devotees pray. So I want to bring this in the context of prayer. And then I want to ask you to ask yourself a question as you listen to this. Is prayer asking God for something? If prayer is asking God for something, then how is it different from asking? Is prayer different from asking? That is what I learned. That is what I learned. How can I pray without asking? How can I take to God my innermost desire and have that fulfilled without asking? How can I do that? So when I got this date from the local Sai Samiti in Bombay, then there were very small, tiny Samitis back in the 70s. So the local Sai Samiti told me, hey, this is the date for your exam. I looked at the date and I saw, because I was in my 12th grade, and you pass the 12th grade, you get into college. I looked at the date of that exam and I was shocked because it was on the same day as my final paper that I had to write on the 12th for the 12th grade. The same day. So my 12th grade final exam finishes at 1 o'clock and this exam is somewhere at 11 o'clock in the morning. So there is no possible way that I could attend this exam. And without the exam, you don't get selected, because there are so many students who want to attend Sai Baba's summer course in Indian culture and spirituality in Bangalore. And I had no clue about Sai Baba. I just wanted to get into his college because Sai Datta told me so many things. I read about Swami's teachings in his books. I was so excited. I said, I must see this spiritual person. I want to be there with him. Something triggered within me. I know. And now, of course, today, 30, 40 years down the line, I'm thinking, I look back and say, you know, this is somewhere I left off. This is such a past life connection that it can never be broken. It is, all of us are here in Swami's fold because we have lived with him. We have known him at some level or the other throughout our lives, in some form or the other. And that's why we are gathered again to celebrate the advent of an avatar. But at that young age, when I was 16, I didn't know it. I was thinking, how do I get to this admission? This exam date is clashing, it's on the same day, how do I get in? So as any youngster would do, I ran from pillar to post. I ran to the Samiti coordinator or the convener, they used to call him. And we ran to him and I said, can you help me? He said, what can I do? This is the Maharashtra state, they have decided, there's a Sai council and all that. We can't do anything about it. And therefore, as a young boy, of course, I was a big Amitabh Bachchan fan, and Diwar and all is my movies which shaped me, Amar Akbar and Diwar. So Akbar Trace has a special link. Brother Faisal, Akbar Trace is here, Amar Trace and Anthony Trace must be somewhere around. So watching these movies, I was like, I was a go-getter. If I want something, I'll go get it. I won't like to stop for it, or I do my best at least for it. So when I heard, okay, the state president is the one who decides, I said, I'll go and meet the chairman or the state president. Who is he? Oh, he's Mr. Java. He's the owner of the Java ice cream. What ice cream was that? Quality ice cream? Joy ice cream. Joy ice cream those days was like the real top of the line ice creams. And then, of course, he was gracious enough to open a store in the ashram. And Baba, every time he would come to Baba, the owner of the Java ice cream, Baba would say, what are you coming empty-handed? Ice cream for my children. So he would come and Baba would serve, Baba would make sure all of us have ice cream in Bhagwan's presence. Those are beautiful moments. So I was told this Mr. Java, who's his name, he is the one who decides all this. So you have to, if at all there is somebody who can change it, you have to go and meet him. So I decided I'll go meet him. As a young fellow, I went to Bombay in the Fort area. I went there and I walked straight up to his office in my little shorts and shirt, and I went up and to the reception. I said, I want to speak to Mr. Java. And she looked at me and said, hello, what for? Do you have an appointment? What is going on? She didn't, of course, take me seriously. I said, no, I have to tell him I'm a Sai Baba devotee. I have to go. I started telling her all this. She said, no, don't tell me anything. I don't know anything about this. You have to you need an appointment to meet Mr. Java. You can't walk like this right away, like this. Because I was just wearing a chappal and a half pant and a shirt. I said, let's go get it. Amitabh Bachchan did it in Trishul. Why can't I do it here? And so I said, no, I have to meet him. And while I was talking to her, suddenly she said, wait. And I looked back, and these three gentlemen were coming out of an elevator and walking out of the building. And so she said, that is Mr. Java, but you need an appointment to meet him. See, he's such a busy man. And I looked at him, I said, this is great, I can just go and talk to him now. So before she could stop me, I went straight across, and as he was coming out, I went and met. I said, uncle, excuse me. And he was shocked. I said, I'm a Sai devotee, I'm Sai Ram, I'm from Matunga, Bombay. And you put a date for the summer course. That date is actually clashing with my board exam. And I'm sure other students are like this, so can you please reconsider the date? All that I had to tell it fast there. And he looked at me, he looked at the secretary, he said, what is this? And the secretary was like, I can never forget that. He said, Arey bacha, I will do, okay? Then he shooed me away, very gently shooed me away. Acha bacha, go. Oh yes, I will take care. Yeah, go. Jao beta, jao, abhi jao. Okay, baat mein kare. Haan, sab karenge. I said, date, do you have a date? Yeah, go. Then as I walked down those steps, I still remember, I was like, this is not going to work at all. They hardly listened to me. I don't blame them, okay? Please don't think I was finding fault with them. I'm finding fault with this. It is just a lesson to me. I had to learn my lessons, and therefore, God puts you through a learning process. He tests you. How much you really want. Getting into Bhagwan's fold, I'm telling you, my dear brothers and sisters, is not easy. If you are here, it's because you have been tested in your past lives, you have earned His grace, and His grace, because of His grace, He's opened the doors and you've actually walked in through that and sitting here. It is His grace. Absolutely, there is no doubt about it. So, I said, this is not going to work. What do? I tried the best now. There's nobody higher than him. And it's not going to work. So I went, I was very dejected. I was staying with my uncle then, because temporarily my father had already gone to Haryana. So I was staying with my uncle. I went that night. I said, nothing works really. He said, why? What happened? I said, I want to go to summer course. This exam has come up and I just can't do anything. What do you want me to do? He said, I don't know. Maybe you can pray. I said, I don't believe in prayer and all that rituals, because I was brought up so much in rituals that I was up to, I lost all faith in all of that. And I shared that late in one of the satsangs, I shared how the pujari who did the thread ceremony did it for money and all that. So I was completely against it. In fact, I used to make fun of my uncle for doing puja to some statues and doing abhishek and all. I said, what are you doing to, just things made of zinc and copper and, the 5 panchaloha and all. What do you get out of that? So he said, I only know to do that puja and I know to pray. If you want, you can pray. Then I told him, okay, if you don't tell my father or anybody, teach me what to pray. How do I pray? He said, I don't know how you can pray. But at that point, he had a big book in his hand. It was Saundarya Lahari, written by Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara is one of the greatest combinations of bhakti and knowledge. He shared the Advaitic principles, the highest principles that you are divine and there is the non-duality, which is Advaita. That there is no duality. There is no God outside you. You are the God you are seeking. And finally you have to go there. And yet at the same time, he was the author of Lalita Sahasranama, he was author of Saundarya Lahari, he praised Devi. So he did both. He wrote the Bhaja Govindam. So he was a great combination of bhakti and knowledge. So my uncle had this book. He said, I am reading this book. Here is the first sloka of Saundarya Lahari. And it says in the book, if you chant this for 1,000 times, 11 days, all your desires will be fulfilled. I was like, yeah, give me that. I wanted techniques, right? Something I can do. I took that. The first thing I learned, it was a long sloka. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakalkushalah Spanditumapi Ataswam Aratyam Harihara Virinchadi Vrirapi Pranantum Stotum Va Kadamakrita Punyaha Prabhavati. This is how long that is. You chant this 1,000 times. for 12 days. Because I didn't chant it so slowly. This is a tune I just worked. I was working with some young adults and we did this as a small project. The meaning of this is Shiva and Shakti are such a mysterious principle, and even Shiva has not understood who Shakti is. So for you and me who have not even understood this fact of Shakti, who are we to even pray to that Shakti? You are so mysterious. Hari Hara Virinchadu. Even Hari and Hara, Shiva and Narayana, they all worship this infinite power of Shakti. And we all know the story of Devi, how she came because Shiva and Vishnu and all the devas prayed to her, and she was a product of that. So the manifestation of this infinite power and energy, which is even beyond Shiva and Vishnu, how can you and I pray? So it's praising the Devi's power. So I didn't know all of that. I tried to understand the meaning, but I said I am somehow going to do it. So for 12 days, brothers and sisters, I did a ritual of chanting. It was, I guess, Swami made me go through that humility and made me humble. He said, come down to this level. You're making fun of rituals, I'll make you do that very same ritual and come to me. Bhagavan used to say, those days in the temples, those days, the old temples, we go to the sanctum sanctorum, the actual place where the idol is, the door is very short. You have to bend down to enter. Bhagavan says, you know why? Because even the king, everybody has to bend down and be humble to enter the ultimate presence of God. You have to bend down. Even if you're a king, you're supposed to bend down. And therefore the doors will always be very small, so everybody has to go down and come into the presence. So for me, my first initiation to come into this physical presence of Bhagavan in Bangalore was, he said, hello, you think you are above rituals? Come down. Do. Without my knowledge, I chanted this for 12 days, somehow managed it. And then what? Then I went on the 12th day night, morning, I finished it, at night I went to my uncle. I said, okay, I'm done, now what? He said, what are you asking me? I don't know. I said, but you told me it will be answered. What will I do now? How do I know it's going to get answered? He said, I don't know. At that moment, again, what happened was, all these days I prayed, I have to get this somehow, I have to go to this summer course. I know there is something there with Sai Baba. I need to understand it more. And that seems to be a nice place, a village. It seems to be great. I can be on my own. All these were desires, and all the 12 days I kept on contemplating on this. And on the 13th day, when my uncle said, now I don't know what to do, my mind shut off. I said, okay, what can I do now? Nothing else. I tried Java, Mr. Java, I tried Devi, I tried everybody. And then I stopped what I called praying. I stopped. What can I do now? I just stopped. A week passed. Then there was a knock on the door. I opened, there was a Sevadal standing. Sunder, I have good news for you. I said, what? He said, your date for your exam has been changed. It is on a week later than your board exam. You can go and write that exam. I never had to look back from that moment. I knew that there was a possibility of your innermost desire to be answered. That was my first initiation, if you will, into the Sai fold, into the fold of Swami, into the idea of praying to Bhagavan. And then came another powerful lesson. So but there's a secret that something happened here. I'm going to share with you what happened there which made that thing click for me as an individual. Whether logically, whether it was a coincidence, and whether it was, Java later on realized, yes, state people realized, I don't care. For me, I prayed, I got it. That's all it matters to me. And I truly believe, and I know you all believe this too, that if your desire is pure, and if your prayer is intense, and if your devotion is completely focused on Bhagavan, the whole universe will come to serve you. That is how Hanuman got his power. We hear the story of Hanuman. He got his power because he was devoted to Rama. Period. Period. The entire universe came to serve him. You see him with all his muscles and everything. He could lift mountains. He could take to everything. Anything and everything, because he said, Rama is the one who empowers me. That's it. And that devotion, if you have, anything and everything is possible. The universe will come and make things happen for you. It will move circumstances around to get you going where you want to go. And you have to constantly keep that focus. Because the best of the things can pass you and you will not know. Because you lost your focus. You want it, God gives it to you. And if you lose it by then, it just goes by you. He always answers our prayers, believe it or not, brothers. And I'm going to come back to that. Many, many years later, back in Puttaparthi in the hostel, One day Bhagwan came to our hostel, and I'm sure Brother Abhi probably remembers this discourse, but I had my antennas out for every word of Swami. When he says about yoga or something, I'll be like, oh, that's for me, that's for me. Because for me, it was fascinating. I found yoga was my path, and I just loved it from day one. It is almost, and I know for sure now, without a doubt, that I have left off somewhere in my previous life, and I'm just picking it. I have picked it up, and the way I got into it, full steam, and it still remains my passion. It can only be explained that way. So Bhagwan came on a Sunday afternoon, and he gave a beautiful discourse on Soham Pranayama in the hostel. Very beautifully described how Soham is the most beautiful mantra, Hamsa Gayatri. You know, we all heard of the Gayatri mantra. We had a beautiful session yesterday chanting the Gayatri mantra in Tobago. But Hamsa Gayatri from the Vedas, Hamsa Gayatri, Hamsa is the purest of Gayatris, is simply Soham. How much more Vedas and the sages made it even more simpler. Okay, Gayatri is long, I have to remember so much, I have to understand so many words. Okay, here are 2 syllables, So and Hum. Soham. And Bhagwan said, it is very powerful, it's because you are chanting it all the time. Whether you believe it or not, you are chanting it all the time. How? Every time with your breath, if you listen to the sound of your breath, all that the sound is saying is so, hum. You breathe in so, you breathe out hum. You breathe in so, you breathe out hum. And Bhagwan continued to explain very beautifully. He said, you know why this is so powerful? Because when you breathe in, so means that. The sat becomes a so. The so comes in. You're breathing in the infinite into you. And the hum, which is I, breathe out. Get it out of your system. You fill in the divine, and there is no room for the little I, so it goes out. Hum. The divine comes in, and the I goes out. The divine comes in, the I goes out. It's amazing. Try in your home if you have an unwanted guest who stays very long. Brother Faiz, I've stayed 7 days in your home. Don't try this on me though. If you have an unwanted guest who has stayed in your house for very long and you want him to go out, you just call more and more friends. Everybody have party, make so much sound that guy says, oh, this is a headache, I can't sleep anymore, and he'll slither out. Aditi, ab kab jaoge? You fill. So that is why we talked about it yesterday. Don't worry about the negative things that exist in you. Don't worry about the vasana. Don't worry about, oh, I can't do this, my mind is fickle, I can't focus, I've got this habit, I've got that habit. You are trying to put off fires. Oh, I want to give up this, I want to do this now. You know, leave that aside. Leave that, don't focus on that, because you will be spending the whole life putting out these fires. Don't worry about that. On the other side, just fill yourself with divinity. So, and the hum will keep going up. So, eventually you will lose interest in all this. You will lose interest in all this. We'll come back to this later. So, Bhagwan gave this beautiful discourse. I was so inspired by this. I thought that was a pranayama I wanted to do, because I wanted some mantra into it, some feeling into it, as I was just doing it very mechanically. And so when Bhagwan said this, I said, this is great. This is like an initiation for me. And so I took it up and I decided I'm going to do this for the next 3 days. Why 3 days? Because on Thursday, this was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday was our time to go for darshan. Okay, so you as devotees, when you sit there, you see a bunch of students coming, running to Bhagwan, and they come and sit. But it's not the same students every day in the front of the line. Because there were 500, 600 students, they used to have every grade, every class will get their turn every day. So there will be 1 or 2 grades. Today's Bachelors of Commerce students and Bachelors of Arts students, they will get a chance to stand first in the line. So then everybody, would shower, shave, have their tea and everything, and come in the line and stand, because they know however early I come, I know it's not my time today. Otherwise, boys would skip food. They would skip eating, having their chai. They would skip having shower. They'll just come and stand first. Right from the college, they will come and stand in the line. They won't even go inside, because they want to be first in the line for Bhagwan. Everybody was craving for Bhagwan's attention. Everybody, we all know, how many other times you go, you're craving for that attention. that magnetism that he had, the power to attract, was only because of sharing and giving love. So I realized, okay, Thursday I'm supposed to go and I'm going to sit in Bhagwan's, I can see, make sure I sit first in the line and I'll get a sign from Swami. So when Swami spoke to 400 boys, I needed to know that this was for me. I felt he was talking to me because I'm so into yoga, but I needed that sign that yes, this is for you, do it. So I wanted a sign from Swami. I didn't get it on Sunday. So I said, Thursday when I go, I'll sit in the front, maybe he will do something. And therefore I decided the next 3 days I will do tapas. I will practice this day in and day out, continuously, as much as I can, till I go to sleep. When I get up, I'll practice Soham, so in and hum out, keeps on practicing Soham. And it was magnificent. Anytime, brothers and sisters, if life gets to you, if you're confused, if you're tired, if you're depressed, simply do Soham Pranayama. Just 2 syllables you have to remember, so and hum. And so means you're just allowing this infinite energy. So, don't put a, there's no label to it. Infinite energy to fill you. Breathe in the infinite energy and breathe out the hum. And feel the hum going away. It's not good or bad. Don't say, oh, my dirty ego is going on, my dirt is going. Don't even focus on the dirt. Just let the hum go. Fill yourself with so. Let the hum go. Fill yourself with so. It's a fascinating exercise. So the 3 days I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I was also excited because, oh my gosh, I hope Swami gives me a sign on Thursday. And so I built up this excitement. All this was built up. And Thursday came, I was first in the line. We went for darshan. Bhagwan comes out from the interview room. There's a small step. He steps down. And at the corner there is a pillar. So this boy was sitting one birthday boy of course was sitting with the birthday tray and the sweets and candy right under that pillar, which was always reserved for birthday boys. And I sat right next to him. So there is no way Bhagwan could miss me. He would come and see me. And I didn't have a plaster that day on my nose. This is something Abhi shared yesterday. So as I sat for darshan, my mind was racing because I really wanted Bhagwan to bless me in this path. I wanted him to show me a sign. And therefore, my prayer, quote unquote, my prayer was, show me a sign. And I said, if you come and stand in front of me, that is not a sign. If you look at me, that is not a sign. Those things happen anyway. And my mind will say it's not a coincidence. Anyway, Swami looks at you. So what is so great about this? So I said, you have to give me something which is mind-blowing. You have to give me something. I didn't know what to ask for. Give me something which I will know this is for me. That's it. Give me that sign. And therefore, I was saying, don't just look at me, don't just stand in front of me. And everybody, when Swami stands in front of me, everybody touches feet. I'm not going to touch your feet, and that's not a sign for me. So I was all ready, exactly, asking for the best, going for the best, because I was very confident of what I did the last 3 days. I saw me, I practiced so really hard, and there is no way you can ignore me. So I'm sitting there, Bhagwan opens the door, Bhagwan comes out for darshan. He comes out, goes to the birthday boy, he picks up the chocolates, and he flings the chocolates around. And of course, I had also said, if this chocolate falls on my lap, don't think it is a sign. I'm not going to take it. It's going to fall off 100 other laps here. That's also not my sign. Strangely enough, that chocolate didn't fall on my lap that day. I mean, Bhagwan always makes sure guys under him first also get the chocolate. So he will throw it like this, and always last two he will leave it for the boys here. But that day, it didn't fall on my lap at all. And I was like, it's okay, cool. So I sat in Bhagwan. He threw the chocolates. He didn't look at me. And he turned, he looked at the boys, smiled, and slowly started turning and going for darshan. So from all that, because Swami used to look at me, we take it for granted. Looking is not a sign. He completely ignored my presence. So slowly from there, I started coming down. I said, oh my God, what? Wait, I didn't even think of this as a possibility that I would be ignored. I was thinking Swami would look, smile, ask something. I said, all that is not sign, give me something. And suddenly now nothing is there. Even the basic thing is taken off. He's not even looking at you. So he just turned and went. I was like, what? Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe this. So suddenly I came down all the way, came back to earth. I saw Bhagwan giving darshan. And as he was giving darshan, my mind was raging, Swami, Swami, please show me a sign. Don't make me miss this, because I know that if you get a big group for interview, you have to go inside for bhajans, singing, and then once I'm in the bhajan hall, you will come sit in the chair, take aarti and go away, and there won't be any chance for personal interaction. I have to do, please Swami, this is only time. So I'm praying as I'm walking. As Swami is going past the darshan, I'm so full of what I wanted. Swami, please help me. Swami, please help me. Swami, give me a sign, give me a sign. And that day darshan was painfully slow. Painfully slow. You know, when you want something to happen, even 1 minute seems to go very slow. Every tick of the second, you're like, please let the second get over. It was like that. Painfully slow darshan. Because I was waiting for him to come and somehow give me that sign. Swami came back, and to my dismay during the darshan, to my disappointment, what was it? The group for the interview was huge. They picked up a big group for interview. So I know once Swami goes in, he's not going to come out for 1 hour at least. That means I have to go inside for bhajans. So there is no chance of me continuing to sit here. This darshan is the only chance. So Swami finished, and I saw him coming towards the end. He spoke to the people who gathered in the interview, then he came and stood in front of me. Right in front of me. I'm sitting here, he came and stood in front of me. He looked, and he's apparently talking to a boy behind. He said, "Kahan se aaya?" And then he told the VIPs, "Look at this boy, so and so," he's speaking to them. And he told them, "Call your parents." That boy is standing up and calling. Everybody's looking. I also looked occasionally at the back, so I knew he's talking to this boy. But then I started looking up to Swami. And that is when I had my most intense prayer. My most intense prayer. Because he was standing, he was like a few inches, his robes were literally on my toes. I looked at him, I said, "Swami, at least look down upon me. I am praying to you, I am asking you for a sign, I am asking you for a blessing, I am not asking you for anything materialistic. I practice Soham Pranayama, show me a sign that this is for me. Please Swami, please show me a sign, please. Swami, can you not listen to me? How can you not listen to me?" I am sitting mentally and I am staring into Swami. He's apparently talking to this boy. I could even see into Swami's nostrils because I'm sitting right under him. Now, brothers and sisters, you don't have to be divine to know somebody is staring at you. I know ladies definitely know that if you are walking in a mall or a store somewhere and somebody is looking at you, you'll be far away, but still you will tell your spouse, "Hey, why is that guy staring at me? I don't know." You feel a stare at you from somewhere. Okay, an uncanny stare if it happens. So you don't have to be divine to know that somebody is staring at you. Here I am sitting right at Swami's feet, looking up like this, eyes wide open, glaring into Swami, saying, "Please, now it has come down to look at me. Just look at me and go. Okay, if you really want, all the special signs, forget it. At least look at me," because I suddenly realized, even if it doesn't look at me at all, then what? Then I'm lost. Did I do something wrong? Is this not my path? He has given me so many signs before that this was my path. I wanted it so badly. Look at me, Swami. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. And I was thinking as I was praying, and I'm reliving that moment. So apparently I'm stretching this more than I should. But I was thinking, how come he's not listening to my prayer? There were times he proved to me every single thought in my mind, but how come you're not listening to me? Because he was graduating me for the next level. It's amazing. The same teacher graduates you to the next level. The same teacher who teaches you A for apple, B for bat. Then you go back to her after 3 years and say A for apple. She said, "What? Sing Jack and Jill, please." Right? She wants you to progress. So the same person will not encourage you if you're on the same level. So I am sitting here and I'm asking why he's making me ready to understand something. He didn't look at me. And to my shock and horror, he turned, the boy came, he went into the interview room, he opened the doors, he came out and called the people inside. And my mind is still racing. "Swami, Swami, please don't do this. I want to cry now. My heart is, I'm becoming emotional." Why I'm sharing all this is I want you to relate to the times you prayed to Swami with intensity, you became emotional, you said, "Swami, kuch karo mere liye, come on, do this." We have all been there. So I want to share this, how we think we are praying, we are intense, we are devotional, we are crazy, we want to cry, we want to do all this. What happens to what I learned? This is again, like I said, it's a limited perspective. This is just a blind man's experience. What I saw that day with Swami stays with me. He didn't seem to know I even exist. He called the people inside, the gents went and the ladies went in, and to my shock, he started going in to shut the door. Now, many of you devotees may not know this, but when he shuts the door, interview room door, sometimes he will peep like this, right? So there is a spot where boys choose to sit, because before he shuts the door, he'll look, and if he's in a good mood, he might do his tongue out to the boys like that and shut the door. Or he might smile or make some face like this and shut the door. Or he might not. Okay, it just depends on Bhagavan's Leela. He was so sweet. So, but this devotees won't know. Nobody will know except the boys and Swami. But that corner of the angle of the veranda and the door was only for between boys and Swami. Even the VIPs won't know. Because as the door is shutting, he'll look like this and shut. And so I was waiting till the last minute. Swami, just one glance. Look at me, please, please, Swami, please, please, please. And the door shut. It did not even look at me. The door shut. Birthday boy got up. Everybody is getting up. I vaguely remember, but I was like completely exhausted. All this intensity, emotional, spiritual intensity that I built up for the last 3 days, and especially during the darshan. The door closed and my floodgates almost opened, but I had control. Boys are watching. You don't just suddenly start bawling out. They wonder what happened here to Sunder sir today. Why is he crying? So this birthday boy got up, and I just slid to this corner of the pillar, right where the birthday boy was sitting, the first boy. So I slid there. I just wanted a moment to relax by the pillar and just to calm myself down, because I know in another 5 minutes I have to get up and go inside. This huge group, Trinidad group comes in big groups and they have gone inside, I know. So I know Bhagavan is not going to come out. So I sat there and I just was taking a couple of breaths. A few minutes must have passed. Okay? Suddenly the door knob turned. And everybody hush. Anytime Swami comes out, there's a hush. So the door went click and I looked up, everybody looked up, the VIPs all sat down, all the boys suddenly sat down, and Swami walked out. Apparently one of the ladies in the group had not joined. So Swami came out. I am sitting in the pillar with the birthday boys. He came up to me, stood next to me. He didn't look at me or anything. Okay, by then my mind is, I'm tired. It's like, no thinking, no thought was there. It's because it's happening too fast. He came out, he stood here, he looked at Mataji, the volunteer, and said, lazy, let her in, call her and all. So Mataji waved to somebody and some other lady came running. Poor thing, she missed out. God knows what kind of prayer she was doing. Who knows? It's amazing how everybody is praying for something or the other. So Bhagavan stood there and he asked for that lady, and that lady came, and Bhagavan stood and let the lady go in. So Swami, I'm just looking at Swami this time. Because this is happening so fast, I didn't have the courage to build up that energy, and I was not even thinking about that anymore. I was too tired. I was just looking at Swami. And then before he went back, he turned around. He had created vibhuti inside. So his hands, fingertips were full of vibhuti. He turned around, and with his thumb, he put the vibhuti in the middle of my eyebrows like this. And went into the room and shut the door. I finally got that mind-blowing, out-of-the-world sign from Swami. I shared this story in Kodaikanal in Swami's presence. This is one of my favorite stories. And I ended this. I said, Swami, I learned in this lesson what I learned. Bhagavan was just sitting next. I was just standing next to it. Kodaikanal is very intimate. Bhagavan sits on the sofa, and he calls, and you're just standing right next to Swami. So when he wants you to stop talking, you just pull your finger. Stop. I hope Swami doesn't do that from here. He might. So and then okay, enough. Or he wants to tell you something, he'll do that, and you look at him and speak. So I tell Swami, the lesson I learned that evening, that day was, and Swami of course had a good laugh, and I said this exactly in the same dramatic way I said in front of Swami. And Swami had a good laugh. And then I said, Swami, the lesson I learned that day was, you're saying, when you said it is only in the silence that the voice of God can be heard. The reason I said it is because when I thought I was praying to Swami and it didn't reach him, I was so full of myself and what I want that God had no place. So it didn't even reach him. The moment I gave up, I became silent. I gave up praying. The moment I gave up, I became silent, my innermost desire was almost instantaneously fulfilled. Almost instantaneously fulfilled. The greatest prayers are those that are done in silence. The greatest prayers are those that do not find an expression in your mind, but just stays in the heart, in the depths of silence. The depths of silence. And therefore I told Bhagavan, as I am sharing it today in His presence again, that it is only in the depths of silence that the voice of God can be heard. And that day I understood the meaning of the depths of silence. We are so eager to push our agenda that we are so full of asking, and that asking, we are so full of ourselves that we have no room for God to even come. I want this, I want a sign, I want this. So when I go back and look at the summer course experience, and I'll tell you what Swami said too, but bear with me here. When I go back and look at the summer course experience, it was the same thing. 12 days of I want this, I want to join the summer course, I want to. Finally I finished my prayer and said, now what? Mangu said, I don't know. I stopped praying. Apparently stopped praying. You do your best, you ask and all that, and finally when you give up, it happens. Because when you give up, suddenly you make room for God. Suddenly you make room for God, and therefore He just comes and fulfills your innermost desires. Innermost desires. It is only in that silence does the communication takes place. That's why prayer is not asking, as far as I understand. If you are asking, you are not praying. If you are praying, you will not be asking. You will be in deep communion with God. When I shared that quote with Bhagavan, that Bhagavan, you said in the depths of silence the voice of God can be heard. So I pointed to Swami, the voice of God can be heard. And I touched his feet. And as I got up, knelt down, Bhagavan said, he repeated what I said. It is only in the depths of silence, he pointed to himself, voice of God can be heard, pointing to me. But, he said, oh, there's a but. But, sir, very sweetly, but sir, it is in the same silence, God can also hear your voice. So in the original quote, he said, we can hear God's voice in the silence. And then after listening to my talk, he turned around to me and said, in that same silence, I can also hear your voice. You can hear my voice, yes, in silence. In that same silence, I can also hear your voice. It was amazing. I was trembling that day. Because that is a secret. That's it. That is a secret for absolute and unqualified and unconditional proximity with God. Silence. When you go, that's why in Akbar Trace Center, when I said my father would sit, he had things to ask Bhagavan. Okay, before that he would say, I want to talk to Bhagavan about this and that. But when he would sit in front of Swami, he would just cry. Because in that presence, he was just enjoying the presence of Bhagavan. That's it. He was just enjoying the presence of Bhagavan. I know this one incident for sure. I don't know what else transpired between him and Swami, but I know this incident for sure. His brother came from Bombay. His brother got an interview from Swami. My cousin Krishna Iyer's father, I think you know Krishna Iyer. His father came, they got an interview, and Swami materialized a lingam for my brother's father, my uncle. Materialized a lingam and said, do puja. Now in our family, my father is considered like a king of person who does pujas. He was like a pujari of the family. He knows all the rituals, all the mantras, and all the Vedic chants and everything. This uncle of mine would hardly stand 5 minutes before the altar and go, even in Bombay, anywhere. Nobody thought he knew mantras. He didn't know any mantras, nothing. Okay, for him it was just he'll wave one aarti, couple of agarbattis, put it there, put a couple of flowers, and go away. So when he got the lingam from Swami, my father, was talking to my mother. He says, "Great, very lucky. But see, I am also doing puja." He doesn't do any puja, he gets a lingam. Why can't he give me one puja, one lingam, so I can also do the puja? So my mother said, "Why don't you ask Swami?" He said, "Oh, okay, I'll see." I know my father had that desire because he loved doing the puja, he loved doing all the abhishek and everything. Okay? I distinctly remember, I don't know if it was his 60th birthday or later, Swami called him for interview. And again I saw Bhagavan, he was crying and all that. Swami said, stop crying, and he waved and he gave a beautiful lingam to my father, which my mother does as puja even today. For me, that was another confirmation that my father didn't ask Swami, he didn't write a letter to Swami, nothing. But he knows your innermost desire. So when we go into Bhagavan's presence, he knows our desire even before they manifest themselves. So that's one thing. But the fact that you take it and put a petition to Swami, Swami bless me today, guide me today, Swami I'm going for this particular occasion, please you take care of me. Telling that, there is an assumption in your mind that he doesn't know and therefore you're telling him. Brothers and sisters, there are discourses where Swami said, ask and I will give you as a mother. But today I think Swami is making it share this with you because he wants you to go to that next level where you don't even ask. You tell him, you know. You know it. You know this is my desire. You know it. He knows it. Trust me, he knows it. The divine in you is the same as the divine that was manifesting itself through the body and assumed the name and form of Sai Baba. It's the same divinity. And therefore, you don't even have to ask. Swami said there are two types of devotees. He would say there's one is like the cat, the kitten, and the other one is like the little monkey. What is the difference between the kitten and the monkey? The kitten, the monkey clings to the mother, right? The little monkey clings to the mother. So the monkey has a choice. You've seen these baby monkeys that cling to the mother? Okay. So the monkey clings to the mother monkey and goes around. But it always has a choice. Anytime it sees something, it lets go, it plays and comes. But the kitten, Bhagavan says, the kitten is different. It just waits. The mother picks it up, goes and puts it here. The kitten says, okay, I'm supposed to be here. It will accept whatever the mother does. She will take it into the cave, keep them there, and the kittens stay there. She will bring them out. Kittens stay and play in the sun. It's time to protect them. The mother knows. And the kitten knows that the mother knows. And she will do it. If little things in that creation teaches you, imagine the Creator. He knows your innermost desire. To me, after that day, I have never, ever asked Swami, however tempting life situations may be. Some of you may be thinking, oh my God, you are lucky, you got all this. So trust me, brothers, whether we hear it from somebody or not, once you get a message, you want to practice it, Swami puts these things so that you practice it more and more. I have had situations in life where it was very tempting to say, Swami, why me? Why are you testing me? Why? The question why would come. But I refuse to do that. I refuse it even today. Because I know that God has much bigger plans for you. I did not, even in my wildest things, He will come and touch me between my eyebrows. This is what you read in books. This is what I would be fascinated when I read about Bhagavan Nityananda doing it for his disciple and this and that. For me, I didn't even consider I was worthy enough for that kind of thing. So I didn't know what to ask. I said, give me something out of the blue, something mind-blowing, something I can always remember. And He gave me something beyond my wildest dream. He has a better plan for me. But He was just waiting. He said, stop, let me come. Stop your crying and wailing. I know it. Just stop, make room for me. And when I quietened down, it immediately manifested. So, sadhana is good, craving is good, desire, but when you go in the presence of Bhagavan, offer it to Him. Just offer it to Him. Allow it to manifest in His time. Believe it or not, your desire will be multiplied tenfold and it will get back to you, far greater than what it was in your mind and heart. Far greater than that. He has much greater gifts to give to you. That's why He says, please don't come to a wish-fulfilling tree and ask for coffee powder. You will get your coffee in the morning. But believe me, it was a wish-fulfilling tree. And Bhagavan will say, if you take a priceless gem and undervalue it, you commit a sin. When you know the value, and Bhagavan said a beautiful story of how a jeweler was walking past a village and he noticed a child playing marbles with some shiny stones. And he was a jeweler, so he passed this kid and he noticed this kid was playing. He said, hey, wait a minute. Bacha, come here. And the bacha came and said, what are you playing with? And he showed, there were little precious stones. This villager had found it, this village kid found it somewhere, God knows where, and he was playing marbles with it. Oh my God, this is worth lakhs of rupees. The jeweler said, hey, can you give it to me? And he took out of his wallet, he took 100 rupees. But you take this and give me all this. Okay, and the child has never seen 100 rupees. The child said, oh yes, of course. Without a second thought, the jeweler took the jewels, put it in his pocket, said, what a great deal. This is really God as Mata Lakshmi shined on me. And he was very happy. He went to his home and he put it in and tried to do puja before, they call it purified Vijay. Swami said they had a ritual. So he was doing puja and suddenly the precious stones burst into tiny, tiny fragments. Just burst. And he was shocked. He said, this is bad omen. How did this happen? And then Devi appeared before him. And therefore, this is part of Swami's way of sharing as a story, okay? And Devi appeared before him. And he said, why did you do this? I mean, this is precious stones. I could have earned my lifetime, not for this generation, but for all my 7 generations I could have provided my family. Why did you do this? And Devi said, and he said, I was doing puja for you. I was doing puja for it. I was honoring it. He said, yes, you are not honoring me. But look at that boy. He was playing marbles with it. You didn't get angry with that boy. Why are you angry with me? That boy is insulting you, throwing you on the street and playing marbles with it. You didn't. Why me? And Devi tells him. Swami tells this beautiful story because I take these stories. I never forget these things. He said, that boy played, he didn't know the value. He didn't know it was semi-precious stones. He thought it was a stone. He was playing with it. You knew my value and you paid him only 100 rupees. You insulted me. You knew I was priceless and yet you paid that child only food for one night. And because you demoted me or whatever you call it, you brought me down, devalued me so much. This is nothing but a piece of stone for you. And when she disappeared, all he found was glass pieces. Swami said, when you know something is priceless, don't use it for little petty things. It might work for you, it may not work for you. But raise yourself to it, be gracious. So when you're sitting in the presence of a Sadguru, and your heart, your soul tells you, he knows. He knows because he is a reflection of my own divinity, and therefore he knows. He is not different from you, he is a reflection. How many times, Brother Ravi, as Bhagavan told us, I am only a reaction, resound and a reflection. How many times has he said, I am only a reaction, a resound and a reflection. All of us who go to Puttaparthi, you go as a group to Puttaparthi, but each one in the group, when Swami comes out, his actions mean different things to different people. Why? Somebody thinks Swami was smiling, somebody thinks Swami was happy, somebody thinks Swami was not very happy, somebody thinks Swami was sad, somebody thinks Swami looked, Why? Because his actions are merely reactions to your own perceptions, to your own karma. That is why he appeared different to different people. His voice, his sound, there will be 40 of us cramming into Baba's interview room. He would come and speak to 100 of us in the hostel. He would speak to another 100 in the bhajan hall. He has done it with you all too. But when you listen to him speak, each one of us will take home a different message. How? Because what he spoke was only a resound of what you wanted to hear, what you needed to hear. Therefore, he was a reaction. He was a resound. And his very presence, therefore, his beautiful form, his beautiful name, the very divine presence of Bhagavan was therefore merely a reflection of what? Reflection of what? Of the divinity that existed and exists in you and me. When you look at him and say, this is a reflection, where is the source? You should feel happy that the source is within you. You go and look at yourself in the mirror tonight and say, oh, I have to adjust something on my eyebrows, on my eyes or face. Go to the mirror and start adjusting. You'll feel like a fool. Why? Because that is only a reflection. It just tells you where you are. So if you see the beauty in Swami, it's because the beauty within you is awakening. If you see the divinity in Swami, it's because the divinity in you is awakening. That is a great sign. Allow that awakening to happen, because then not only Swami, the world around you become a reflection of your inner divinity. You will stop seeing evil outside. You will stop seeing corruption outside. You will stop seeing birth and death outside, because you will only see divinity. That is what Krishna saw in the Mahabharata war. Arjuna said, how can I kill my own cousins? How can I kill people who taught me how to fight? How can I kill my gurus? Krishna said, nobody is dying, nobody is born. Go shoot the arrow. What a test, Arjuna said. Luckily, Swami didn't give us those kind of mission. He just said, go speak, go practice, go serve. But look at that test of Arjuna. Because Krishna, he said, that's why Arjuna said, I will believe your eyes and mine later on, right? But Krishna doesn't see death. He doesn't see birth. He doesn't see evil. He doesn't see good. For him, the highest dharma is the dharma of being divine. And therefore he said, Arjuna, you're not the killer. You're not the doer. Just do your duty because it has to be done. You are not the doer. Allow God to work through you. And therefore Arjuna became a mighty warrior. Hanuman wanted to jump the ocean. He realized, Rama will do it for me. And therefore he didn't jump the ocean. It was Rama's energy that made him jump the ocean and do all the wonderful things that he did. When you allow God to work through you, then every single desire of yours get automatically fulfilled. And you will not even be interested anymore. You know, when I was young, I wanted a plasma TV. But now I can afford to have 3 plasma TVs, therefore I'm not interested in it anymore. So when you know God is with you, automatically your materialistic desires will, forget it. I'm not interested. I can get it anytime. You have a wish fulfilling tree, you're not going to ask for coffee powder anymore. That will come anytime. Your innermost desires will anyway come to you even before it comes to your conscious mind. And therefore what happens when your devotion such as this ripens, it takes you to another level. And that level is a level of detachment. Automatically you get detached. Detachment is one thing you cannot practice. I was sharing detachment with a different perspective today in the corporate world. I use the same teachings of Swami everywhere. It's just a matter of how you put it across, and Baba guides you, because these are eternal values. If you as an individual you find an enrichment within yourself and empowerment within yourself, you can be better in any field, anywhere. There's no doubt about it. Detachment you cannot practice. It is gifted to you. When you realize that there's an infinite source that exists within you, guiding you, protecting you, not in one lifetime but in many lifetimes, then you just sit back, relax, and you enjoy the flight. If we can sit and put our faith in one captain who might have had a drink and come, who knows? I'm sure they don't do that. I hope they don't do that, because I have to fly back on Sunday. But when you can put your faith on little people out there, why not God? We are here today at this moment because of Bhagwan's grace, and we are ready to take the next step. So take it. Go home with the feeling and your heart filled with the thought and the emotion that God is within you, and you are within this universal energy of God, and it's all a play of God. Nothing in life should get you. Take it as it comes. Bhagavan, you are giving me, I accept it as a prasad. Acceptance and surrender therefore becomes a natural product of devotion. Naturally you will surrender to Bhagavan. You will accept every moment. And since you accept every moment, the ceiling on desires automatically comes. You don't practice ceiling on desires. The detachment comes automatically. You are not interested anymore. And therefore you don't have any desires to fulfill. You have only desire to give, to share. Your hand doesn't go like this, your hand starts going like this. I want to give. I don't have anything. You will never say that anymore. Why? Because when you look back to say, I don't have anything, you look at him, say, oh, he is there. Let's go give the word. He will energize you. He will empower you. Then you become an instrument in the hands of the divine, and you are blessed with detachment. Let me share this beautiful sloka of detachment, which Adi Shankara sings in Bhaja Govindam. He says, how beautiful is this sannyasi who says, just give me a corner. Give me this corner in the mandir, and I'm enough. There's one corner in a temple, and the sky is my roof. I'm happy. What greater joy of renunciation? The greatest joy is the joy of renunciation. Just give it up. Sura mandira taru, mula nivasaha. Mula, give me a corner. Shayya bhutalam akilam vasaha. And the sky, infinite sky is my roof. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyagaha. With this joy, I sacrifice all the pleasures. I tyaga, I give it up. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. How much greater happiness, sukham, can I get from this vairagya? Sura mandira taru mula nivasaha shayya bhutalam akhilam vasaha. Sura mandira taru mula nivasaha shayya bhutalam akhilam vasaha. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyaga. Sarva parigraha bhoga tyaga. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. Kasya sukham na karoti viraga. Jaya jagat janani ma. Sai Shiva Shankar, Sai Parameshwari, Ambe Bhavani, Ambe Bhavani, Jaya Jagat Janani Ma. My dear sisters and brothers, let us sit at the feet of this beloved mother, the cosmic parent, and enjoy the presence in silence, knowing, believing, and having 100% faith in Him that this mother will take care of my needs, and that my role is to simply be an instrument. Allow Sai to speak through you. Allow Him to bless through your hands. Allow Him to walk with your feet. Allow Him to use you as an instrument in spreading His selfless love to one and all. Hands in the society, heads in the forest. That is the kind of detachment Bhagavan wants us to learn. Let our hearts and minds today as we go home be filled with the idea of devotion and with the gift of detachment. So here's a goodie bag Bhagavan is giving you today when you take home. Fill it up with devotion and take His gift of detachment. Let the world slowly recede into the background. Allow His energy, His love to fill your thought, word and deed. Bhagavan, thank you for this wonderful session. I don't know if you enjoyed it, but I thoroughly did. And I know, and we all know, when we invoke His name and we chant and we talk about Him and we sing about Him, the reason why we feel interconnected, we feel an energy is because we are invoking the greatest power on earth. And as we partake here, each of us partake a fragment of that power. That power will stay with us no matter what, for the rest of our life. So thank you for this wonderful opportunity, brother. Thank you for opening up your center to Maya and me. I'm very honored, very humble, and very grateful. Jai Sai Ram.